Hi English 110 students. I wanted to give some tips for writing your title for your research essay. This is one area I want you to spend a little bit of time on. Here are some noteworthy student titles from Student Voices: A Different Form of Resistance, Isolated Torture, The Influence of Social Media on Eating Disorders in the US. And you can take a second and think to yourself, why are those great titles? Why are those noteworthy titles? When you're writing your title, you want to keep two goals in mind. The first is that your title conveys your topic and key ideas. So you want some sort of hint about the content of your essay. So avoid something like research essay, because that doesn't preview what your topic is or what your key ideas are. And also, you want to make your title interesting. This is one of those places in your essay where you can be creative. You can think about your title as a first impression for your paper. And actually, I should mention, if you write a really effective title, it can really make your reader expect your essay to be excellent, and it can inflate your grade a lot of times for classes because it does set a really good first impression and it does set the tone. So there are a variety of ways that you could approach writing a title. You could write a question, and then your reader expects that your essay will answer that question. So for example, do drug courts really work? Is the American dream a myth? Why do parents feed their kids junk food? Can a vegan diet save the planet? Your reader would suspect that your essay is going to go ahead and answer that question. Another option is just using keywords from your thesis. This is pretty standard. You'll see this with a lot of research articles that you'll read the title and it will have some of those key terms in there. So for example, the American dream is a myth, the power of language to transform, the influence of social media on eating disorders in the US, how big business got Brazil hooked on junk food, which is that article we read. So it's just the key ideas. I can see those reflected in the title. You could also do a two-part title with a colon, and this is probably one of the most common types of titles for New York Times best-selling nonfiction books and also for undergraduate BA student essays. Typically what you have is a creative phrase and then a colon and some phrase that gives clarity about the content or focus of the essay. For example, food fight, creative. The practice of lunch shaming, so that's a particular policy that you may or may not be aware of. Blood, bones, and butter, so creative phrase. The education of a reluctant chef. This is from a New York Times bestselling book that I really like. Reading between the lines, something creative. The impact of literacy on identity. But you don't necessarily need to do a totally creative phrase and then a clear phrase. You can just have two different phrases. So, cities with two faces, homelessness in affluent urban metropolises. I think those are all good examples. So you could also write your essay and then look through your essay and find a phrase that you think is effective or memorable or creative and use just that phrase as your title. So A Friend That Never Left is an example. We read that student essay on Smashed. The United States of Addiction, I think, is a creative, effective phrase from a student essay. So keep in mind those two goals: being clear and being interesting, and definitely feel free to be creative. This is one of the places in your essay where you can insert some humor or your own voice or some creativity. Thanks for watching this short video.